Hi everyone, this is Hala Jalali with metric number P146373, and this is my presentation for the final individual project in the course EPPE 8034 Advanced Econometrics. The title of my topic is Economic Factors Reinforce Energy Transition Adoption, Evidence of Renewable Energy Consumption in G7 countries. This study contains five chapters, starting with introduction, then literature review, then research methodology, then results and discussion, and finally conclusion and policy implications. As a background and introduction for this study, the concern about the environmental stability and the increasing level of carbon emission as a global climate risk require urgent action. According to Sustainable Development Goals, and international energy agency call for the importance of shifting from the traditional energy sources to the renewable energy, and a plan to increase the consumption of renewable energy to triple by the end of 2030. This study will focus on the influencing of the economic factors on the renewable energy consumption in the G7 countries. The research questions are: what economic consideration could impact the consumption of renewable energy in the G7 countries? Second, how economic growth, inflation, and other economic factors could affect the renewable energy consumption of G7 countries in short term and long term? Third, what are policy implications of the findings in the study and how it could motivate the renewable energy consumption in these nations? Several studies have investigated the impact of the economic factors on the renewable energy consumption, some of them showing negative impact, where other findings are positive influence on renewable energy use. However, some of the gaps in these studies are limited focus on specific regional or country level analysis. Nonlinear relationship between trade and renewable energy needs further exploration, and limited consideration of policy effectiveness and implementation challenges. Our methodology for this study starts with a stationary test, and according to our panel data, we will use the unit truth test of the Levin Lean 2 LLC and the IM Pearson and Shin IPS test, followed by co-integration tests, Cow residual and Johansen-Fisher test, and finally the model estimation by using panel ARDL, MGPMG models for cross-country differences, and non-ARDL for asymmetric effects. Our data consideration will be concentrated on um, the data of the group of 7 countries, which are Canada, Germany, France, Italy, UK, USA, and Japan, using annual data for duration from 2000 to 2001. Our dependent variable is the renewable energy consumption. The independent variables are GDP growth, inflation, oil rent, trade openings, technological innovation. The sources are OECD country, World Bank, UN Comtrade, and IEA, the International Energy Agency. These are the model estimation for each of the uh, models. the PARDL model, MG and PMG model, and the NARDL model. Here are the results for stationary tests. The unit root test results show mixed stationarity in the variables between level and first difference. However, at first difference, all variables become stationary and significant, confirming their integration of order 1. This suggests the stationarity of further analysis using is suitable for further analysis using co-integration techniques. For co-integration test results, cal-residual configuration test results confirm a long-term co-integration relation between the variables. Since the p-value below 0.05, the null hypothesis of no co-integration is rejected, indicating that economic factors and REC move together in the long run. For Johansen-Fisher panel co-integration test, the result confirming strong long-term relationship. The significance of different co-integration equations suggests that economic variables influence REC differently across G7 countries. Panel ARDL, MG, and panel MG results. According to the table now, we can see that short run in ARDL are not significant and they have no impact on the renewable energy consumption in the short term. While the long run significant impact for ARDL in the GDP and technological innovation as well as trade openings showing positive impact on the renewable energy consumption, while oil rents and inflation showing negative impact. However, the MG and PMG are not significant in GDP. GDP variables not significant according to the MG and PMG results, and the only two variables that are showing significant results in the MG and PMG are technological innovation and trade openings. Following in this general impact of each independent variables on the renewable energy consumption is showing here in this figure. We can see that economic growth, technological innovation, and trade openings having a positive impact on the renewable energy consumption, while inflation and oil rents showing a negative influence on the renewable energy consumption. The non-renewable ARDL results in the short run indicate that the only one is the GDP. The variable is significant effect with a negative impact, while other variables are not significant. However, in the long run, positive shocks in GDP significantly enhance the dependence variable, where negative shocks have an even stronger negative impact, suggest asymmetry. Additionally, trade openings exhibit a significant negative impact in the long run negative scenario, while inflation has a significant positive influence under both positive and negative shocks. Here for bond tests with the null hypothesis of no level relationship, we can see that most of the countries reject the null hypothesis, such as Germany, France, and UK, show the strong evidence of a level relationship, Japan and Italy also show some evidence but weaker, while US and Canada do not show evidence of level relationships. And according to world tests of our data, the result shows p-value below 0.05, we could reject the null hypothesis that state variables are equal to zero. So explanatory variables are significant. In other words, our explanatory variables are not equal to zero and they add a value to the study. As a conclusion of this study, we can say that economic factors significantly influence renewable energy consumption in the G7 countries, and need for targeted policies for each country, and the importance of long-term investment in technology and trade. The policy implications for this study suggested as government subsidies and support for renewable energy industry, increased investment in R&D, research and development, and technological innovation, promoting trade openings and reducing barriers in the green energy sector, and inflation control to avoid negative impact on renewable energy consumption. Some recommendations for future research, for example, expanding the analysis of this study to more countries such as OECD countries or developing countries, or even making a study to compare between developed and developing countries according to their renewable energy consumption and how the economic factors will affect each of them. Inclusion of environmental taxes and non-renewable energy prices, which is including different variables in such a study because of environmental taxes and non-renewable energy prices are connected to the consumption of renewable energy. So further studies could be useful if we add more variables like these, and differentiating between renewable energy sources here, because we are using the renewable energy as a whole as a consumption for all the sources of renewable energy. Further or future studies can classify each energy source or renewable energy source separately, such as solar energy source, wind energy source, and hydro power energy, etc. That's all. That was all of this, and thank you so much.